Oh, well, hello, VC. Hey, I'm glad you could join me today. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, as long as you're all here, I was thinking maybe we should do a video because Michael's been made a video this week, a couple of really good videos. I really enjoyed them. And Mazzy made one. They're talking about record covers, artwork, quality of the product, so to speak. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 10 years when I ever make videos. So let's do it. And first of all, I've got a couple records here that are not reissues. These are CTI. This is Creed Taylor made these records. And they've got nice glossy covers, right? They're on gatefolds. It's kind of the same quality. This is 1970s now. Kind of like a tone poet of the day. Creed Taylor did records and the sound on them was phenomenal. And the covers were spectacular. Shiny covers. Now it's not from Stoughton Printing, but just look at the quality of this stuff. Look how nice it is. Just a product that you're proud to own. Right? And here's a Bob James 2, same thing. CTI, nice gatefold, glossy jacket. Okay. So now we're going back a few years now. This is Analog Productions. They got the rights to make some Blue Notes on 45 RPM. This is kind of when the 45 RPM thing was just starting to do it. And they got the rights to do, them and Music Matters both at the same time got the rights to do certain titles from the Blue Note catalog. This is one of the titles that Acoustic Sounds did, what Chad did, and he took and put two records in a single jacket, and they're a good thickness. It's not classic records or MoFi thick, but it's still acceptable for audiophile. So that's what Chad was doing, and this is going back many years already, right? And here's another example of that. And they're remastered at Acoustic by Kevin Gray and pressed at RTI. It's the same exact thing that Music Matters did. Kevin Gray remastered them. They played it and pressed them at RTI and everything. But Chad chose to cover the artwork like that. This is an example of Music Matters now, right? Nice, shiny, Stroughton, tip-on, session photos, gatefolds, beautiful, thick, classic records, thick stuff, like MoFi thick. Everybody fell in love with this. And Chad got a few emails saying, Chad, what are you doing, bro? I thought you were trying to make the best stuff. Music Matters is outclassed you. They're doing a much better job. And then here's another Music Matters title. And look how nice they are, right? This is the kind of stuff, it's just like a tone poet is today. Only these are 2LP 45 RPM. And this was over at Acoustic. This is the old mastering studio. This is not Coherent. At Coherent, Kevin Gray can make a better record. He can make a record at 33 that I think is just as good as this. And some people say it's just a tad, not quite as good as one of these records, but I think for the money that the tone poets and the quality, I mean, when I'd have a comparison video, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but when I put them on the first couple times when I'm comparing the 2 LP 45 RPM versus the tone poet or the classic record reissue, I can't tell the difference. It takes a while, so that's pretty good. Now here we go. This is a tone poet, right? If you didn't know this was not a Music Matters record, it's the same exact looking thing. And these are $35. So it's a phenomenal value. These tone poets are. Look how nice they are, right? Look at how beautiful these records are, folks. This is what, if every record that we could buy was of this quality, Kevin Gray remastered it from an analog tape, and we got a Stroughton jacket on it, I would want every record in my record collection to be like this, right? And they're $35. I mean, I'm a record collector. I'm an audiophile. We're paying a lot more than $35 for a lot of these records nowadays, aren't we? Right? There's another tone poet. Just fantastic quality. And here's another tone poet. And I've got this one. I wanted to show that one because here's the original. That's the original one that I've got. And there's the tone poet. No, this is not a gatefold. Right? It's a beautiful blue note, but look how nice this is. Tip on. Now we've got a gatefold. Just a beautiful, beautiful record. 35 bucks. And you know, you can get them on sale. Buy one, get one free at different places. I've done a lot of that in the past. And much nicer than the original. That's kind of what you want. This is what I want. You know, I've got this already. Why should I go out and buy another one? You got to do something to make me want to spend my money again. Yeah, do it like this. The cover. I think record collectors love the covers. This is one of the things we like about records. The artwork. And if you do it right, look at that. I'll go out and I'll buy it. And of course it's remastered by Kevin Gray from the original master tape, so it's going to sound just as good or better than the original. Anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. Now we've got Chad doing Impulse. And look at that. He went over to Stoughton. Got the tip-on jackets made up. Right? This is the Verve series by At Acoustic Sounds. Same kind, it's the same product like a tone poet would be. And of course Chad's remastering these things with Kevin Gray. And he's pressing them at quality record pressing. And they are, the music is just jumping off these records, right? That's Impulse. Look at this, he's got Verve, he's doing Verve stuff. Here's Stan Getz, Gilberto, right? Awesome. So now Chad has stepped up his game, right? He's not putting the record in a single sleeve. He's doing the gatefolds, right? And here's it now. He's doing it. Here's how he does a 45 RPM now. Stoughton jacket, session photos, right? 45 RPM. This is just like a Music Matters record right here now. He's doing the exact same thing that Music Matters did. And this is an older record. He's been doing it for a long time now. And this is some of the best stuff out there. I think Analog Productions, when they produce a record like this, right? They make a record product like this. Or they've got, you know, Headhunters, right? Same thing. And then the first one that he did, I'm making a mess here, folks. Just what you got to do to make videos. T for the Tillerman. This was the first time that I remember that he made the record on the Stoughton jacket, right? Beautiful glossy cover and 2LP. And this is the 2LP 45 RPM. This is from a while back. I wonder if it even says on here 2014. Right, that's when he started doing that. And then he did some Clearwater stuff, Creedence Clearwater. And of course it doesn't say the year on here, of course, but now this isn't a glossy tip-on, but it's true to the original. This is what he's trying to do at this time. That's a little bit around the same time. And then of course the Doors stuff. Tip-on jackets, of course. beautiful. Everybody loves the Doors stuff. Impeccable. You know, it's even got embossed. Of course, it doesn't have the original cellophane window, but I'm happy with this. I think this is the way to go. Then he did Ted Nugent on a gatefold. And this is not the double, but the single. And it's not a glossy top-end product, but this is faithful to the original. And then he's done all this, you know, Chad's the guy that does the Jimi Hendrix stuff. And I'm telling you, boy, oh boy, oh boy, do they ever do a great job. The nice covers, nice and thick, double LPs. Just look how nice those records are. They're beautiful, and they sound phenomenal. Sound is impeccable. So that's your kind of your classic records products. That's your analog productions type products. That's what analog productions does now. Then we've got a label called Classic Records, which Chad owns. This is the kind of product that they would put out. Big, thick, I'm talking really thick covers with the Bernie Grundman remastered from the original master tapes. That's Classic Records. Bernie Grundman remastering it to the original master tape. That's a good records, right? And so, what do Classic Records do? Here's another example of Classic Records. Look at this big, thick gatefold jackets remastered by Bernie Grundman from the original master tape. Yeah, that is a superior product. And when you can get a band like Led Zeppelin now, and you can remaster their records from the original master tapes by Bernie Grundman and press them at Classic Records, man, everybody wants this stuff. That's why there's so much money, because it's a superior product. And then I've got, this is the digital record that came out, and it's a 2 LP. You put it on, and you got some outtakes. But I said, you know what? This isn't. I don't remember. This is a little bit kind of shiny, pretty thick, pretty good. I mean, the packaging, the cover is not that bad. It's not super thick like Classic Records, but. And then here's the Classic Records one, right? It's a little bit thicker. It's a gatefold. But it doesn't. It's not as shiny, but it's, of course, it's very faithful to the original Classic Records. And here we got more Classic Records. This is Neil Young, Massey Hall, and then we've got more classic. This is again Neil Young Archive, Classic Records. He got Classic Records to do his first archive stuff. And then, when Classic Records was sold, he started doing his own stuff. Neil Young did his archive stuff. And he just kept up the pace, just as if Classic Records was still doing it. You can't tell the difference between the packaging on these and the ones that Classic Records made. Fantastic quality. Audiophile quality. And let's talk a little bit more about the Neil Young, because this is, I think, about the last record that he did for Reprise, second to last, I think. And you know, you got their thin covers and the Reprise record in the inside, and they don't sound very good. And he had a belly full of all that because he wants his products to be good. And so what did he do? This is the first record that he produced. It's a double LP, and the sound on it jumps right off of this record. This is when he started doing his really, really good quality records. Then you've got another company called Rhino, and they reissued records Warner Brother Rhino. And this is a pebble cover. Got nice insert in the record. Gatefold jacket. Very nice and thick, just like a Classic Records reissue would be. You've got the original insert in there. And the difference is I bought the Classic Records edition, and when Rhino did theirs, they were cheaper than the Classic Records, and I bought those because I had such good luck with the Rhinos. I bought a couple of these, and these have better sound on them because it's from the original master tape. Kevin Gray's remastering it, and they are better. Kevin Gray is doing a better job than Bernie Grumman did. So now we've got some more Rhinos, and this is Court and Spark here, and it's an embossed cover, just like the original, and the sound on it is better than the original. Remastered by Kevin Gray, pressed at RTI, phenomenal record. And then we've got, look at this, Alice Cooper School $1 Billion Babies. It's all embossed. It's got the rounded corners just like the original. It's got the dollar bill on the inside, the $1 billion bill. It's all stamped in here where you can take out, it's all perforated, you can take that out. It's got the great 180 gram record in there. Even this is embossed on here. This is, and it's thick. I think it's thicker than the original. This is a product that, again, this is better than the original was. And the sound on it is much better than the original. I've had so many different copies of this record. And when I got this Rhino, this is like 2012 Rhino stuff. 2011, 2012 in there from Rhino. Such a great records. LPs cut from the original analog masters packaged to the finest detailed. Manufacturers with more care than ever. This is, you know, in the early 2000s still, this is when record collectors, audiophiles were demanding records, and this is the kind of product we were getting at the time. This is before the Renaissance hit. Again, we've got another Rhino reissue, big thick gatefold cover, press at RTI, remastered by Kevin Gray, huge thick gatefold, beautiful, best sounding version ever. And I think what Rhino was able to do, because it was Warner Brother Rhino, I think they were able to get all the original artwork, all the original photos. They had the original master tapes. They could send it over to Kevin Gray. And I don't know who made their covers, but they're made to the highest standards, even of today. So these early Rhinos with the RTI stickers, right? When you get that silver RTI sticker on those Rhinos, you know what I'm talking about. When you see those of that era, that's a superior record. This is how I would like all my records made, just like this. Fantastic. And of course, you know, as Mazzy had the love, he said it was fantastic, just almost as good as the 245 RPM. And then you've got another label called ORG, and they make their records basically back to the original kind of quality covers. They're not going for the stout and shiny covers. They're kind of sticking with the original quality, as well as the Nevermind, the same kind of thing. Kind of had the original, and the cover there is about the same as the other original. Yeah, like I was saying, the Nirvana from ORG, the artwork is very, very high quality. It doesn't look like a scan. It looks like the original artwork done to the very, very high standard, but it's just a single cover. Now, the record itself, phenomenal sounding. This is kind of where ORG excels, is in the vinyl. The sound on the vinyl is first rate. Their covers, they do them excellently well, but they try to reproduce the original style. Here's another company. This one is Audio Fidelity, and again, they get Kevin Gray to reissue it. And they put them on the Stoughton jacket. On a nice gatefold cover. Yeah, this is the kind of records we all want. This is if they could reissue records like that every time. Right? That's what I would like to get. Every time. But Audio Fidelity no longer in business. Here's a company called Runout Groove. And they, again, do the nice tip-on Stoughton jackets. And this band is from the 90s, so you know their stuff's digital. But Runout Groove goes to Memphis, and they get it. There's an all-analog system out there that they use to run that digital tape on, and these records sound phenomenal. I don't hear any digital when I listen to this stuff. Beautiful records. Runout Groove. Runout Groove is doing a fantastic job with their products. Now we've got another company called Speaker's Corner, and they make some phenomenal records too. Now look at the quality of this cover. It's nice and shiny. It's a nice gatefold cover, right? Is it super thick? No. But this is made in Europe. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is those classic series records that are made over there in Germany at Optimal, their covers are made in Germany as well. Why couldn't they make a cover like this? Is it a Stoughton tip-on? No. Is it nicer than what we're getting? It's a heck of a lot nicer because it's still a gatefold. It's still nice and glossy. It's nice and shiny. What are they going to charge you? A couple more dollars for a cover like that? We need to get this. They need to be doing this. This is the type of thing that we like better. Right? That's made in Germany. Same thing for this record here. Nice glossy gatefold cover. It's made in Germany. I don't know where Optimal gets their covers made if they do it themselves, but you know they don't do a very good job. Just a thin little typical cheap cover on their records. Then we've got another company, Music on Vinyl. And the reason I've got this out is because it's kind of the same idea. This is a company out of the Netherlands. And look at that nice shiny cover they've got on this record. Very nice. Is it real thick? No, it's fairly thick. It's acceptable, but the cover quality, the picture quality on that thing is phenomenal. Really, really well done. Music on Vinyl. They take care in their product. And most of the ones, all the ones I have, I'm really, really pleased with the cover art. But I'd be happier if they were getting the covers made in the city of industry. Well, of course, but that's not going to happen. They're made in Europe. But, you know, European covers don't always have to be like that. Here's another Music on Vinyl. Music on Vinyl. Leonard Cohen, 10 new songs. And I had the original Canadian press of this. And this is the sound on this record is better than the original Canadian pressing that I had. That's how good Music on Vinyl is. Okay, so now we're getting around to what we want to start talking about. And that is MoFi. Let's talk about MoFi. Okay, here's the MoFi stuff. This is going back to the 70s, early 80s, 76. GRT Records. MoFi reissued it on a nice gatefold. It's a pretty thick cover. That's a pretty thick cover. And it's not shiny. The artwork is really good though. It's not blurry or anything. Right? That's good quality. The covers are pretty thick. And of course this is a half-speed master. And it's done really well. I really like the sound on the record. Right? Stan Ricker Stan Ricker was one of the only guys that could do that half-speed mastering and make it sound good. He knew how to do the bias or something correctly on it to get it to sound good. Again, here's another older MoFi on a gatefold. Pretty thick. 76 again. That's the kind of stuff they were doing then. And then that company went out of business, and we have another company, Anadisc 200, special limited edition, and they're on a gatefold again. It's a little bit thinner now. This isn't real thick paper on this, but we do have that inner sleeve to protect it. And it's a lot about the records on here. There's not really a lot of advertising. It just talks about the process of how they make their record. But the covers aren't really thick, and they're not really glossy, but the artwork is good, right? Again, same thing, same company, same MoFi, same type of product. Not real thick, but nice. Not glossy, nothing going on, not fancy, not doing anything the way that Analog Productions would do it. Here's another one. A little bit newer now. This is where Music Direct has purchased MoFi, and this is the product they're putting out. These covers are a lot thicker now. And they're still using the same system, the Gain 2 system. But, you know, they did put a big book in this one. I mean, I'm talking a nice, big, thick, a lot of pages, a nice book. So it's not like they never do it, but they rarely ever do something like this where they put a book in there. And of course, it's not a glossy cover. Pretty faithful to the original, right? Then they started doing their 45 RPM stuff. Again, there's no Stoughton jackets. I'm not sure who's making their covers, but they're thicker now. This version of MoFi that's owned by Music Direct, they really make the thick covers. They really do. And you have to look for original master recording on there. Yeah, don't look for MoFi Fidelity Sound Lab and have a silver label up there, because you're going to be disappointed. You always have to look for that original master recording. And when they do 45 RPM, MoFi knows what they're doing on that. They can do that. They can make a great sounding record at 45 RPM. And this is one of them. This is one of those that get your hair stands on the back, up on the back of your neck. Great record right there. And then we got a little bit newer stuff. Same huge thick covers. 2 LPs, 45 RPM. It's not a Stoughton jacket. It's not real shiny, but the quality is there. I mean, it does look like a good high quality photographs were used on here. The back's a little bit blurry. It's not real vibrant. And again, the latest offerings that I've purchased out of the Brothers in Arms. There's not really much to this record, right? And the artwork is not real bright, not real vibrant, not real sharp. But the records are really good. They're doing a really good job on these 45 RPM records. They sound really good. They're doing a great job on the record part. So the beef has been, we should be expecting a little bit better quality than we're getting with some of this stuff. And I agree with that. But it really hasn't been MoFi's modus operandi even from the start. They never went out of their way to make something that was better. Now we've seen with Rhino, and we've seen with some of these other companies where they're trying to make an even better product than the original was. And I do like that. Even with the Blue Notes, they're making the Tone Poets even nicer than the originals, right? MoFi hasn't never done that, really. So should we expect them to do it now? Well, I would. Now, maybe with this record Eye in the Sky, because the artwork on the back and the pictures are dreadful. They really are. They're all blurry, and it looks like they don't care anymore how their product looks. And when you've got to spend $80 for a record, yeah, you expect a lot more than that. They're just turning these records out as fast as they can, regardless of all that stuff, because they're just in it for the money, which is a sad state. Because we love MoFi, we love Analog Productions. They're a couple of the only companies, Rhino is not doing the same products anymore. They're not out of the United States. Rhino's making their stuff over in Germany. And all the stuff they're getting, Kevin Gray's not remastering their records anymore, right? They're all digital now. All the stuff they've got has all been transferred over to digital files, and they're making digital records. It doesn't have that silver RTI sticker on it. That's not a high-res record, right? And the covers and all that stuff is not the same. So, in some aspects, these covers are nicer because they are thicker. That is really, really good. I really do love the fact that the covers are so nice and thick. I like that. That means quality. But they could use a little bit, they could try to get the original artwork, and this could be more vibrant. Or what's wrong with getting a Stoughton jacket? Go over to City of Industry and see if you can get some of those made. But from what I understand, they're so backed up over there that they're not going to be able to keep up with the demand. That they're not going to be able to keep up with the pace that MoFi wants to put these records out at. Now, I don't know who was making those records for Rhino back in the day, but they sure did a good job. So there's room out there, folks. It's just a matter of what are they going to do? What do they want to do with their records, right? You just have to decide. When somebody's made a comment to Michael, hey, if you don't like them, don't buy them. He likes the music. He likes the records. But he's expecting more because this has kind of been, MoFi's operated business model is we're making high quality products. And the outside part is starting to slip a lot. And we as record collectors, we could wish for something better, right? Analog Productions now, all the stuff they're putting out is all Stoughton jackets, all really high glossy stuff, the stuff we like, just like the Tone Poets. That's why everybody loves that stuff. So anyway, I think I've covered all of that. I think we kind of know where we're at with this stuff. And so thanks so much for tuning in, and bye for now.